So with your sixth chapter for put-log statement debugging, we have this exercise. So it's telling open and submit this exercise. All right. So let's open an existing code of your exercise which they have already provided. It's lesson 6, exercise number 1 is 1. Is it there? Yeah. Okay. So you are creating customers data from oren.order underscore summary. So you are processing this data by customer ID, and you are actually calculating total sales as one of the accumulating total, and you are selecting within the group of customer ID, right? And this, all right. So let's execute and check this code. So you are getting total for every customer ID. What is the total sale? All right. So as per this exercise, it's telling compare your results to the correct output below. Notice that your output is different. There are no error or warning message in the log. Insert put log statement to check your program flow and display the values of the variables you are creating with the sum statement and or assignment statement to see whether you can identify the error or errors. Correct the error or errors, resubmit the program and verify your results. All right, so this is the expected output. So
Yeah.
let us check this. So first customer ID total is 691. Second customer ID 10. It's 4170 in our data. Here it's
Which is incorrect. Yeah.
3479. So customer ID 11, again here is a different value. We are getting in our result a different value.
Hmm.
So the results are incorrect. So let us check how your put log has been working. So either you use it with before put or what, it's all fine. Put log underscore all. Let's check. Okay, before working it your previous log, it was not giving you any type of error message,
No.
though it's a logical error.
Hmm.
All right. So this is the output, but the output is incorrect. So if you see, this is the data which is getting executed. So initially your total sales is missing. Then again total sales is getting calculated. So it is showing you iteration number 4 that this is it's not executing. Why? Because we are processing it in groups. Therefore, it's telling last dot customer ID is 1. It's true. So it's with 4 observations. It's the last observation, first 4 observations
Hmm.
of the customer ID file. Therefore, its total is this.
Correct.
Next, again, this is showing you missing. And again, total it's giving you this value. So it's not at all calculating as per your required output. So what's your sale amount? 33.8, but total sales is not at all giving you this value. So what is happening?
Your voice, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry. I
Okay.
was a bit coughing, a bit. Okay.
Oh, okay, okay. No
Yeah.
problem.
So here, if you see, we have a sale amount. The total sale initially is giving you missing. So what is this? Total sale,
Yeah,
and again you have
that's we
total
got it.
sale.
That yeah, that total underscore sales spell is missing. It's like misspelling.
Hmm. So
So
therefore, it's creating this as a new variable because you have given it assignment as 0. But
hmm.
here you are giving this variable where it's not initializing 0 at initial stage with your next values also. Therefore, it's not at all calculating within the group the total amount. All right. So in case if we,
Yeah, then it's coming.
so
Total underscores.
this is only what they wanted to check, that whether you are
Yeah,
able to
that I
work
did
with.
it because
Mhm,
there is no even need to add this put log and find out. It is
mhm.
easily recognized.
No, but
Uh,
see, the result is now correct. So
Correct.
it was just for us, or they wanted to give us that feel that how putlog is working. Because initially, if this we wouldn't have seen it properly with putlog, we
Hmm.
wouldn't have understood where total underscore cell or tot cell initially for
Yeah.
our understanding of our code.
Okay.
All
Hmm.
right. So hence, it's just to understand or make you get the feel that how you are making use of putlog.
Yeah.
That's it.
But what they ask, like, you can use some statement, or if you read that,
So insert
insert put.
putlog statement to check the program follow. That means it's telling us that in your program you can also write by starting here, that giving here, you give here, you have started the programming. So you can write putlog. So you can put insert the statements telling that you can insert the statement that customer group processing begins. Okay. Then at the end of your statement, you can give put log. If you remember yesterday, we had seen
Yeah.
that we are inserting. That's what they are just telling you to do this, making yourself that it's the last
No, that
observation
also I
of
got it. There
the
is another, they
of
ask
the
about
group. Okay, just a second, we'll check. So the statements. Then second thing, what they are telling, and display the
display.
values of the variables you are creating with the sum statement. So you can also, instead of writing put underscore all underscore,
Hmm.
variable which you was creating was total underscore
Sales.
sales equal to, and earlier it was
Oh,
something tot sales, right? Something like this. So
oh,
this is
they
what
say
they
like
wanted to.
some statement.
Uh-huh.
So I was like little
So this
confused.
was your sum, na? This is a sum statement, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what it was telling
Okay.
to
Okay.
check the values.
But now the tot cells we change it to total
Now
sales.
we changed it, right?
Yes,
So
it
what
will
we can do is we'll just do the
Original.
changes and check. It is total cells. Okay. We'll work with only few observations. So let's work with OBS equal to
10.
20.
Okay.
10, 20, because
Hmm.
as it is, it's going to process in groups of your
Yeah.
customer ID. Now we have an error missing numeric prefix for total. Okay. So here we have hyphen instead of
total underscore
underscore.
sale.
Hmm. So there was a typo error. All right. So see, this is what it was telling. So customer group processing begins.
Hmm.
Oh, I should have used this put log at the end or somewhere after last statement. So it's giving your last observation group. Again, it's giving the same thing. Then it's giving here within your group. So this is how it's giving the values. So for tot cell, it's still missing. Then here it's calculating this value. So this is just want you, they wanted to give you the feel how it is processing. So so this is how it was. So being a last observation of the group, it stopped processing. This is how it's giving the values within every group of your customers. All right. This is how it was telling. That's it. So we know where we are making mistake. So we'll just correct it. Now no need of all these things. All right. So this is what it is. So now it's able to work. Total cell. Now because I've just written it like this, it's giving you this as a missing value in log. But this is what it is calculating for every data within your data set. And we get the data which is a summarized data for every custom ID. All right. So this was about your exercise. Okay. So let's start with our lesson number 7. So it's processing data iteratively. So here the topics are that we are going to cover is do loop processing, conditional do loop processing. We'll get introduced to SAS arrays and we'll see how to make use of arrays. Now, what is looping, what is arrays, and how this conditional looping has been performed. So we'll see that in details with this. So if any, now I know you both don't have any experience with loops, but yes, we'll understand what loops is and how this loops is used to eliminate redundant code and repetitive calculation. So for this, we'll understand with a specific scenario. Now they have given this business requirement that this Orient Star employee wants to compare the interest for yearly versus quarterly, compounding on $50,000 investment made for 1 year at the rate of interest of 4.5%. How much money does the employee acquire in each situation? Each situation means yearly as well as quarterly. With rate of interest is 4.5. Now we are going to work for only 1 year. Within a year we have 4 quarters. Correct? So accordingly we are going to calculate. So this is your data which you are creating. The amount which deposited is $50,000 with rate of interest is this. For yearly you are going to multiply amount into rate. But for quarterly, because you want it as a accumulating value, you are writing a sum statement in this way where you are again dividing your quarterly plus amount value into rate divided by 4 because this is the yearly amount value which you are going to divide for every 4 quarters. So this is what you get the output for yearly including your rate of interest. This will be the value with your rate of interest in, and this is for quarterly the rate of interest amount. Okay. So this is what are you doing if you see this quarterly
So,
calculation, it is
Ashwini,
the,
how
yeah.
quarterly is more than yearly?
So this quarterly is because we are actually having 4 quarters, it will always give you for every quarterly what is the value. So this is what it's giving you
But
for
normally
one.
yearly, whatever is there, we are dividing.
Mhm.
Suppose here we are getting 4250. That will be divided in 4 parts, right? So
Yeah,
it should be less. Then why it is more here?
it is showing you the values which is getting accumulated for 4 quarters. Therefore, it's showing you like this. So it is going to get for quarterly the values is going to be some extra amount because we are writing it as a sum value because it's getting accumulated. Here it's only a multiplication, here you are performing an accumulation. So it's quarterly plus within quarterly plus amount into rate divided by 4 because it's getting accumulated. You see the value is getting more at the end of quarter rather than yearly. So
Can
we'll
we try
understand
this?
this.
Yeah.
Huh?
Can we
So,
try this like that?
We can actually
so
calculate, then we can understand.
yeah. So when you are writing for every 4 quarters, you are giving the same statement 4 times, right? So this is for your first quarter, this is for your second quarter, this is for your third quarter, this is your fourth quarter. So this is your writing. So what they are telling, you are doing the same calculation 4 times. right? So how you will avoid this? So this is where it's telling now this was quite simple only for the first year. For first year we know there are 4 quarters, but what if we wanted to calculate the same thing for 20 years? So do we going to sit and write the same programming for yearly 20 times and for quarterly 80 times? So it's not going to be sufficient, or it's not going to be efficient way of coding. Hence it's we are going to see how to avoid repetitive coding. So hence task will be simple if we use do loop. So what is do loop? So we'll see. It's like we are telling the same statement has to process within this 20 numbers from 1 to 20, and again the same thing within the year you are doing quarterly, so it will go 80 times. So this is what it's like called as do loop. So your coding is also precise and your data processing is also going to be efficiently processed. So it's telling we use do loops to perform repetitive calculations. So what is the syntax? It's telling do, it's your index variable. So as per your syntax they have given this index variable I equal to, you give a start value to end value, and you give your statement which you are going to calculate and end this statement. Same thing here. So this is how, in case if you want to increment by any value, what is that increment value, that also we'll see. But here by default it will keep on incrementing by 1 for every statement within the same data step. So how it works? So before that, let's understand with your do loops. So it's telling the values of start, stop, and increment. So what does this means? Start, stop, increment must be numbers or expressions that yield numbers, are established before executing the loop. If omitted, it is by default incremented by 1. So that means here. So see, now you're writing do I equal to 1 to 5. So now here you have not given any increment option. So by default it gets incremented every time by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay. So details of this index variable. So this index variable is a variable which is always created and written to your output data set by default. Because in the syntax itself you write I equal to. So this I is the variable which is created and written to your output data set. So here they have dropped it. So next they're telling at the termination of the loop, the value of index variable is one incremented beyond the stop value. So what does this mean is that when you're writing the statements, SAS, when it reads do I equal to 1, it will create this I variable. So you're asking it to do, take currently the I value as 1, then it will calculate or it will read this sum statement. So when it comes to end, okay, it will not go to the next do statement because it has to still finish this statement 20 times to be processed. Hence this statement will iterate within this iteration 20 times. So when I value is 1, this statement will process, it will come to end. When it ends, when it reaches this end statement, it will increment your I value to next value, which is 2. Okay, by default it goes to increment by 1, which is 2. Then for the second iteration cycle, your yearly value will get calculated. Then again when it comes to end, like this it keeps on incrementing your I value. So when I value is 20, it will calculate this year statement, and again when it comes to end, now your I value will check or it will increment to 21. Now, how it will understand that it is out of the loop? Now, when I value is 21, it checks is it within this range? No, then it comes outside this loop and reads the other statements. That's what it was telling, that they at the termination of loop, the value of index variable in one increment beyond to stop value. So look at here. When it finished processing for I to 5, when it comes to end, by default, it's its nature to increment by 1. one value. Hence, I value at the end of this loop will always be beyond your stop value. Now look at this example. You are telling do now here the variable they have not given I as an index name, but they have given j. You can give any variable name. So j equal to 2 to 8 by 2. That means it will keep on incrementing this value by two values. So what will be the value at the end of this do loop?
10.
Absolutely correct. 10. Pragati, are you getting it?
Yes, I have one question like in before example.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, can you? Yeah, here we are not creating new variable, right? Same variable we used.
Mm-hmm.
First I and second one quarterly for also I. So
Mm-hmm.
till here 1 to 20 it will read. So we will
Mm-hmm.
get 20 observation, right? And
Right.
once it will end,
Mm.
after 20 means in 21 position we will get quarterly.
Yes, then it will start calculating for quarterly. We'll
Oh,
see
and
when we'll see this do loop. Okay, I'll show you
okay,
how it looks in this do loop.
okay,
Okay, then in this example, you're doing do k to 10. So k equal to 10 to 2, but now your increment is minus 2. So what will be the
0.
increment? Yes, so it is going to be 0. All right. So this is what it is going to be, the values. But remember, these are only the incremented values, but it will not calculate for your statements within this do statements for this uh, incremented values because it is outside the loop. All right.
Mm.
Now look at this examples. Now it's not always that your I values you can provide or your looping you can provide only for numeric values. You can also give this index variable name as month, and you can provide the character values. So these are your character values which you're providing in quotes separated by comma. You can also give discrete values of numbers, or you can also provide the variables. So the do loop is executed once for each item in the list. The list must be comma separated if you're giving discrete values or variables. All right. So how does this work? I'll explain this scenario once we look into this example. The same example, now they are telling on January 1 of each year, an Orion Star employee invests $5,000 in an account. Determine the value of the account after 3 years based on a constant annual interest rate of 4.5%. The starting year they have given is 2008. So for next 3 years they are telling, correct? So 2008, 2009, 2010 with the same value of your deposited amount with the interest rate, what will be the value for 2010. So you are writing this statement of your data step where you're creating a data invest do. Now your index variable is year, you're giving starting value is 2008 to 2010. Capital is your accumulating total variable which it will keep on incrementing every year for your basic amount which is 5000, and with your capital you are calculating its rate of interest, correct? And now, with your these statements, when you execute or when you submit for processing, SAS first goes into compilation phase. So, as per this instructions, it is creating this variables. Now we know this is an assignment statement, or sorry, sum statement. It will create this variable with initial value. It will by default take as 0, and of course, it will retain default with it. And at every data step we know in pdb it will create your underscore and underscore one of your temporary variable, correct? So look at your pdb is initialized during your execution phase. Now when it hits the statement, it is entering the loop. So here is your index variable where its starting value is 2008. So it will check whether from your PDV, is it within the range? Yes, this value is within the range in your PDV. What range you have provided? Starting year and last year is 2008 to 2010. It will check this value, it's within the range. Hence, it will enter or it will move for your next statement, which is capital plus 5,000. So initial amount for capital was 0 plus 5,000. It's giving this value. Now next statement is same value of capital. It's getting multiplied. So now I hope you are understanding. It's already your capital value is 5,000. So 5,000 into 5,000 and your rate of interest is giving 5,225. See, this is how it was. Understood, Meena? That is why in your quarterly also we were using this the same thing with the same quarterly value plus into your quarterly into your rate of interest.
Means
And
Because
basic,
we are adding here, right?
yes,
5,000.
yes,
That's
basic
why.
amount plus interest we are adding. So that is the
correct.
that was not the
Yes,
interest amount.
right, right. So that was happening there with quarterly. Same thing we are doing it here. All right. So now you have finished with this statement. Now what is the next statement coming? End. Now look, when it hits end, look the change in your year value. So your year value will get incremented by default by 1 because it's a loop statement. It's starting with do, it's end with end. So whenever it hits end, your index variable, which is your year, it will by default get incremented in PDV by 1. So it goes back into the loop and it checks whether this incremented value is within the loop. Yes, it's within the loop. Is it outside the range? No. Hence, it will enter your loop, calculate your next capital amount. Now, your current capital was 5,225 plus your basic. Then again, it will calculate here with its rate of interest. Now, when it hits end, your index variable gets incremented by 1. So it's incremented in PDV, but it did not finish its calculation here. Hence, it goes back into the loop. It checks whether your current PDV value is within the range. Yes. So it will calculate for this value. Now look at here. It will hit end. It will increment your year value in PDV. It will go and check within your loop. Is it outside the loop? Yes, it is outside the loop. It's not within your range of your do loop, correct? Values which you have provided. Hence, it will stop your do loop processing and it will come to run statement. So understand within your same single data step.
But it's showing
Hence,
here, right? 2011, it's showing that
yeah.
capital
So
value.
yeah. It will show you. So this is what it's telling, that it is the same data step iteration, but this cycle was processing within the same data step, hence it's called as a looping. Now it terminated the loop when it encountered that this value is not within the range, but this value is calculated for 2010. This we knows and even SAS also knows, but we know this is not the appropriate value, correct? For your
Mhm.
year 2011, here it should give you the year for 2008, 9, 10, and you're accumulating total like this, right?
Hmm.
So this is what it's coming. So the question would be how you will generate a separate observation for each year. So that's what the same thing which you was asking. So how we'll get for each year its separate output instead of getting this output.
Then
We
we
can
have to do separately. Year is equal to 28.
No,
Again, we have
that
no,
is not the
2008, right?
no, but that is not your syntax, correct?
the third line capital plus capital is there, no? So we can remove
Mm.
that 45% on the capital that we can remove.
So this you are telling you can remove,
But
but
no,
then
no,
interest,
only one capital on one capital of that we can remove because we just want 45% on basic capital.
No, but
but
Even
we want
that,
for every year, na,
right.
2008 to
She's saying
2010.
like,
no,
you
that's
mean to
fine.
say 2008, 2009, and 2010, right?
So that's fine.
This is
So
what you
that
are telling, correct?
no, no, what I am telling, the capital plus 5,000 is there, right? So we
Hmm.
can create new variable for that. that capital plus 5,000, and we can use that variable into 0.45%.
So
Like that.
same thing now. This is the new variable which will keep on incrementing with your 5,000, and the same variable you're multiplying with
Ah,
your
yeah.
interest.
Yes.
But even if you execute this, the output which you'll be getting is for the year 2011, but we have an error.
Yeah, the syntax
Statement
is.
is not valid or it is used out of proper order.
In bracket, we can give like some. We can give
Can you
one
keep as
variable.
it is and let's check like.
No, no. This we can keep it in bracket. Capital multiply by 0.45%, and
Hmm.
variable name you can give different something. Let's say column.
That it will be a new variable, like that is what you're telling, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Suppose we give the variable as fine. But then this, okay, let's check. Still for the year 2000, this is the individual interest value.
Yeah, see, that's what we wanted, na? Individual interest rate, no?
No, we want for every year. We
Every
don't
year.
want like
Every
this.
year.
2008, she's saying 2008, 2009, 2010, right,
Yes,
Ashwini?
yeah, yes.
Separately.
Hmm.
Mm, think.
We'll keep the statement as it is, what we had earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, so how we'll have separate output
Again, we have to
for
do
every year.
do loop for year something. Again, one more do
Hmm.
loop in we can use
But
it.
then it will be loop within a loop. But how we'll get separate values? Very simple. Before end, you just write output statement, explicit output statement. So that when it is here equal to 2008, it will take this capital, it will increment this capital, you will get the rate of interest, and when it reaches this output statement, the current value of 2008 will be immediately written to your output data set. So we are
Mhm.
not waiting until run. So when it encounters end, your year value will get increment. For the next year again, it will do the same thing.
Now it will
So
not be
now,
replaced. Overwrite will not be there. It
right,
will
so
be
it will not give you the overwritten of same year.
Mm.
So this is the capital, this is the interests. All right.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So this is what we had seen with your every year you get the
Mm.
separate output. Fine.
there.
So this was the explicit output statement. So there is no observation for year 2011. Of course, we know that for the year 2011 is just the incremented value, but it was the previous year's calculation, right?
Mm.
So this was just an introduction of your do loops. So let's have one exercise on this do loop. So do loop processing, a simple one will do. So it's telling performing, it's page 7-17, level 1, exercise number 1. 7-17. You people located it?
Yes.
Okay. So it's telling us to perform computation with do loops. So the Orion Star payroll department must project total employee costs where they have given wages, retirement benefits, and medical benefits through for future years based on assumed increases. So they have given us ready to use code which is for lesson 7E01. Insert a do loop containing statements to calculate the estimated values of wages, retired, and medical. So let's open this E01 for lesson 7. Here it is. So wages value they have given, retire value it's they given, medical value is given. So they are telling here start year, what year it is. We know what today is a function. today with a null parenthesis, it will extract your system date plus your value. So you're extracting only the year. So what is your today's system date? So it's 19/1 2022. So it will extract today's date. From that, it will extract only the year and it will increment that year. Okay. And what will be your stop variable? Whatever is the start variable value, which is suppose 2023 plus 9. Okay. Like this, we are going to calculate its wages. So it's telling insert a do loop statement. So it's telling use start stop to control the values of index variable. Insert a do loop statement containing statement to calculate estimated wages. So we have to calculate the estimate wages as per this annual increases. So assume the estimated annual increase shown in the table below. So your wage will be your wages into 1.06, though it is 6.0%. So it's for the year 6.0%. When you are writing it in for the yearly, it's always going to be 1.06. All right. Same goes here also, and same goes here also. Fine. So accordingly, we have to calculate this wages retired within the loop for your start and stop values. Then it's telling create a new variable total cost as the sum of the year's wage, retire and medical values. Output the values for each year like this. Now this was the data for their whatever the system date was 2017. Accordingly, it keep on incremented. So for every year they are getting the wages values and its total cost. So the above result were generated in this year 2012. So let's work for our observations for next 10 years from your current system date. So
Now,
year is a function which extracts your system date. So our current system date is 2022, correct? As the year, because it's going to extract only the year value. The date is 19 Jan 2022. But because it's a function year, it will extract only the year 2022. It's incrementing by one. Hence, the result we are getting is starting from the year
23. Yeah.
2023. And because the stop value, you're telling start plus 9, that means next 9 years till 2032, you're getting the estimation of its total costs and for your wages and retire and medical as per this interests. Getting it, Pragati?
So this is all done, but one
Yeah.
I just saw that year is equal to start to stop. So why we have to use this year start to stop? Because
This
any
is going to be your index variable,
because
which is
it's there,
incrementing.
it start and stop, it is there in the syntax already
This
above.
is this is there because you are calculating these variables. You are giving the start and the stop value. You are not typing the value. Or in case if you don't want to give, you can directly write 2022 3, and you can give the value here.
Oh, instead of
Where
that, we are using
Yeah.
start
in
and
case
stop.
if it works, in case if it works. So this is also fine.
Let's see. Capture.
So let's check.
Here we are not getting output. Yeah, we gave it here. Then why we are not getting? Okay.
Yeah, see, we got it. I just used 20232 2032. That's it.
Why did they give here like this? It's just for you to give you an
Oh, okay, okay. I
heads that
understand that
how
we
one can
already
create
created.
the variable. So it's you are creating the variable, you can directly write start as the variable name
Okay.
and the variable name here also. So this is how you can use the information to extract the years and to calculate for next 9 years. That's it.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Any questions for this? All right. So now this was simple looping. Now let's understand how conditional looping works. So we'll see conditional loops and nested do loops. Now you have a scenario. Now this is a data for Orion.growth of employees. So this is for each department. These are the total number of employees working and their rate of increase, or how many employees may increase every year or for every quarter, whatever, for every department. So they're telling, recall this example of forecast of the several departments. Modify the forecasting application to use your do loop to eliminate redundant code. Now the same increase data, if you are working, you would have given for next 1 year. How you would have written, if you remember the very first chapter of this programming too, we got introduced with puts output statement, correct? So when year equal to 1, you're writing total employees is equal to your total employees into 1 plus increase. So output. So for your next year again, you're equal to 2. You're writing the employees into 1 plus increase output. So for every year, you are writing explicit output statements to see the rate of increase of every department the employees gets increase. But what if you wanted to do the same coding for next 6 years? So are you going to write the same statement 6 times? Only your year values will keep on changing. So it's not feasible, right? So in this case, we write or we get introduced with loops. So write do year equal to 1 to 6, total employees equal to total employee into, in parenthesis, 1 plus increase output end. So for every year you will get this, for every department for next 6 years you will get its employees which are with this rate of increase, how many employees gets added, right? So this was a simple code. But then what if the condition comes? So it's telling what stop value would you use in the loop statement to determine the number of years that it would take for engineering department to exit 75 people. Exit, okay? So how many years
Exit.
it will take? Exit means if it moves or it goes beyond 75 people and
Mm.
above for engineering department.
Mm.
So how will put this condition in this loop?
We can add if condition for engineering.
Okay,
Mhm.
try it out. Open this demo 7D05
805. DO5.
and try it.
Engineering department.
Is it working here?
No.
No, I think I have to use like by department then because departments are more, I don't know.
No, if
Okay,
statement is not working here.
correct. So it's unknown, right? So
Hmm.
use conditional iterative processing to stop a loop when a condition is made. So you cannot use conditional statement if in this do loop. So we are going to give instructions in this loop itself when a particular loop has to stop when it meets a condition. So let's understand the same thing with this scenario. So determine the number of years that it would take for an account to exit with this sum amount if 5,000 is invested annually at 4.5% rate of interest. So it's how many thousand
Yes.
some value. So it's nearly 10 lakhs or 1 lakh. Okay, fine. So how
10.
many years it will
10
take?
lakh. It's
Yes,
10 lakh.
10 lakhs. So how many
Mm.
years it will take
200
if a
years.
It's
particular amount which is 5,000 is
1000.
deposited to reach 10 lakhs with an annual rate of interest of 4.5. So this is your scenario.
Okay.
All right. So with this scenario, we are using conditional loop. So see the looping statement, do until, and you give the condition your capital is greater than 10 lakhs, increment your year.
Why we are using capital?
Because we
So
want
this is your
capital.
capital variable, right? Which you are calculating with this rate of interest.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because this capital it will keep on incrementing with 5,000, right? So this is the
Mm-hmm.
variable which is going to keep on incrementing once it exits the value of 10,000, 10 lakhs or greater than 10 lakhs, correct? So you're incrementing capital including your interest end. So it takes 52 years for this value to exit 10 lakhs. So conditional iterative processing, you can write two ways. One is do until or do while. Okay. So this was with do until how it works. So it's telling the do until statement executes statements in a do loop iteratively until a condition is true. So the value of expression is evaluated at the bottom of the loop The statement in the loop are executed at least once. So it's telling like this. That means it's a loop, and the condition which you are writing, it will always check at the end of the loop. That means it's reading this. Now understand, this is your statement.
Mm.
Okay, your condition is capital is more than 10 lakhs.
Yeah.
So it enters the loop. At initial stage, it increments your year. It will calculate your capital. It will calculate this interest. When it encounters end, here it will check this condition. Is the calculated current capital is greater than 10 lakhs? No. If no, it will move back into the loop. Enter the statements, enter the loop. Every statement is executed at least once, because it checks the condition at the bottom of the loop. That's what it was telling here. The statement in the loop are executed at least once. The value of expression is evaluated at the bottom of the loop. That is why every statement will get executed at least once, because it is going to evaluate this condition at the end of this loop. All right. So this is with do until. Whereas what is do while? It is telling the do while statement executes the statements in a do loop iteratively while a condition is true. It will check the condition first, then it will enter the loop. So the value of expression is evaluated at the top of the loop. The statement in the loop never execute if the expression is initially false. So if the same expression, if you want to write with while, how you will give the statement in while for your do while?
Can you go
First,
to
it
Yes.
will
back to
check is
that?
it true or fall. And
So
if
how
it's
the
fall,
expression you will give? No, no, you
oh,
don't have to write
okay.
false. How you will change this expression with do while? So it's activity A02.
Do
Yes.
while.
Greater than is equal to zero something we can.
No. So it's do until. Okay. So I'll copy this. So do until you will write the same thing. Only thing is your expression will be oppositely written. That means here you are writing greater than 10 lakhs. There you will be writing
Less than.
correct, equal to or less than. Less than or equal to. Here you will
Yeah.
just write while. Why? Because it will check this condition at the top. So
Mm.
is the current value of capital less than equal to 10 lakhs? Yes. Then it will enter the loop, calculate the value. So this I'll give the, it's with while, and this is with until.
Yeah.
So we'll use the same thing and check the output. Output is going to be same, so the change won't be anything in output, only the way how it gets evaluated and how it is been given in your while. So see, value is same, so this is with
Mm.
your until, this is with your while. So if you check the log, data set is created, same thing. Okay.
And here, if we
So
give the output, then we can see the yearly also. No?
yeah, so if you write here output, then you'll see yearly also, so you will get 52 rows
Yeah.
Mm.
like this.
Ops, we
Okay.
can see 10.
Yeah, but the result is same.
Mm.
So it stops the loop for both the condition at the year 52 where it's exiting 10 lakhs.
Mm.
So with while you see, simply write the expression exactly opposite to your until, because in while it will check the condition first, then it will enter the loop. So when it is going to now at this when it calculates it's 10 lakh and above with end, it go back into the loop and it checks this condition. Is the current condition for your loop greater than less than or equal to? Yes, now it has already exited, so this condition is false when it is more than 10 lakhs, hence it will not enter the loop. Got it?
Mm.
Pragati. So this
Yes.
is what it was telling. The statement in the loop never execute if the expression is false. Why? Because you are writing it's less than equal to 10 lakhs, but your value is already exiting above 10 lakhs. Hence, when
Mm.
it is checking this condition, it is false. So it will stop processing.
Yeah.
Hence, in while it will check the condition at the top of the loop with until it checks the condition at the bottom of the loop.
Mm.
Okay, so always remember this figure. Okay, this figure,
Oh, okay.
right? So
Mm.
this is what it's telling. It's for until
Last
it
at
checks
the
the
end.
condition at the bottom, whereas
Mm.
for while it checks the condition at the top. So if it is false at the top, then it will not enter the loop.
Mm.
Same thing with while. So change the do until statement to your do while statement and modify your condition in this way. So with our example, or it's telling do while iteration, it's now telling determine the value of account again, stop the loop if 30 years is reached or more than $250,000 or 250,000 is accumulated. So see, they are telling you can combine your condition as well as your iterations with your year values also. So you can have both combinations of your do loops writing. So it's you
Oh.
are giving the start and stop value also and you're giving the condition also. So it's telling determine the value of account again, stop the loop if 30 year is reached or more than 250,000 is accumulated. So you want it to calculate for 30 years while your capital is less than equal to 250,000. So you can combine your start and stop value along with your conditional loops also. So at the year of 28, it stops or your capital value exits this condition value. So it's telling which we determine the value of account again, stop the loop if 30 year is reached or more than 250,000 is accumulated. So any which one condition is true, it will stop processing. So it finds at the year of it has exited the capital amount more than 250,000 at the year of 28. So
So
it's not
whichever is
waiting.
earlier, maybe
Yes,
like
whichever
first.
is earlier. So it's not waiting until 30 years has been reached for this loop. So whichever comes first. All right. Or you can use like this with until as well. So
Until
it's
it's
telling,
27 years.
yeah, so it's telling in a do until loop, the condition is checked before the index variable gets incremented. So here at the year, so the value is going to be calculated. So here the value is same also with while, see.
Mm.
But what it's doing with do until, in do until the loop, the condition is checked before this value gets incremented. So here instead of getting it default by 28, so before it gets incremented with the year 27, it's checking this condition. So that's what it's telling. Before your index variable gets incremented, your do until condition will be checked. Why? Because we know it checks this condition at the bottom of the loop. So with end, you know it gets incrementing to your next year value, correct? By default it increments to 1, right? But it checks the condition here, hence your current year value is 27. Because it checks the condition first before this year gets incremented, its value stops processing at year 27. The capital is more, which is 264,966. Getting it?
Mm.
Read
Yes.
this, which is highlighted in yellow, and understand how it works with loop when 1 to 30. So we know at every end when it encounters, your index variable gets incremented by 1. But here, instead of getting it incremented by 1 when it reaches 27 year and the capital is 264,000, so it checks this condition. Now condition is true. Hence it stop looping and it will not increment your index variable year to 2000, sorry, to the year 28.
So in until condition, so it's going from 30 to 29 like that, like the amount wise it is going.
Yes, it's working with the condition of your amount.
Mhm.
So it stopped processing here only on 27th, right? Year.
Correct. Yes. So it is not incrementing to the year 28
And in while statement,
because
28
it
years.
checks the condition at the bottom of the loop, right?
hmm,
With while. So it will get incremented. That's why it's coming 28.
okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is how your loops work. All right. So now understand the business scenario. Create one observation per year for 5 years and show the earnings if you invest 5,000 per year with 4.5% annual rate of interest compounded with quarterly.
Ashwini, I will
Yeah,
come in 2 minutes.
okay, no problem. So just understand this syntax, Pragati. So it's called as nested loops. Why?
Okay.
Because they are telling us we have to calculate for next 5 years
Hmm.
the capital amount with this rate of interest, and we also have to compound quarterly amount.
Quarterly.
So within every year quarter, correct?
Hmm.
So we are going to write nested loops. Hence it's telling loop within a loop. So within yearly you will get incremented, and within every yearly you will have quarterly. So
Okay.
this end is for this loop, output for every
Because
yearly.
one year has 4 quarters. So
Absolutely.
got it.
So for every year, it will have 4 quarters calculating,
Hmm.
then output for 1 quarter, 1 year, sorry. Then
Hmm.
when this end encounters, it will increment this year to next year. For next year, it will calculate this, it will enter its loop. For 4 quarters, it will calculate. Output will come for second year. Hence, this is what you'll see the output. So this is called
Okay.
as nested loops. So it's loop within a loop. Hence it's called as
I'm
nested
back.
do loop.
Next year. Okay.
Yes, Meena. So I was just explaining the syntax. So it's like business scenario. It's creating one observation per year for 5 years and show the earnings if you invest 5,000 per year with the same rate of interest of 4.5 annual interest compounded yearly. So this is the value where you have yearly and quarterly amount compounded for every 5 years. So this is what it was, the code that you are writing a loop within a loop. So this end is for this inner loop, this end is for this outer do loop. So for every year, for 1 to 5, you are calculating quarter, and within every year you have quarter, so you write another loop within that. So for every 1 year, it will calculate quarterly and output. So this output will result for every year result, whereas this end is for your outer loop. So for every 5 years, you have quarterly values calculated. Hence, it's called nested do loop, and you get the output like
We
this.
will get quarterly variable also, but because they drop quarters, that's why we are not
Yes,
getting. Yeah.
absolutely. So if you see this code also,
We will
so
get
we
4 time.
right. So this code,
Just want to check if we don't drop.
yes. So we'll check this. So when we execute this data step, so for every year you get quarter. See, now quarter is by default incremented by 1, but it is going to calculate for 4 quarters. Why? Because you have 1 to 4.
Yeah.
So by default, the end value is always incremented by 1.
But in
Correct?
every row, it is increasing in every observation.
So
But it
this
should be on.
quarterly, so it's like this. So if I write this output here also now, understand,
Mm.
check the result.
Yeah, now
See,
it's kind of 1, 2, 3,
for
4.
1 year, for 4 quarters.
4 quarters.
Hmm.
But see this, because we have used this
51.
output, so it's giving you incremented by 5 years. Let me show you this in data set.
Why? Because we gave year is equal to 1 to 5.
No, it's year 1 to 5, but we have written two outputs, right?
So
Yes.
every year, four quarter will be, so that is 1, 1, 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 5. Then again
Yes.
for second one, the same thing like that.
Yes, so this is for 1 year, this is for
Huh.
second year. For second year, this 4 quarters. Now you know it is incrementing. So by default, it's giving you the value for the last quarter y, which is incremented by 4. Why? Because the value is the same, but
Yeah.
it is
Okay.
incrementing value here
Okay. Okay.
because you have written here twice output. So if we don't write this, and we execute this data set, you get only for 1 year for every
4.
quarters the result. So this is what we get the result is. Of course, it's for 4 quarters, but it's by default incrementing to its one value 5. Hence, we were dropping it here so that you cannot see those values for output for quarter, which is 5. So this is for every capital for every year within every quarters. So this is your nested do loops. Correct?
Hmm.
So that 5,200, that value is yearly value, right? Now that is
Yearly including quarterly.
including all quarters.
Because we added.
Yes, all 4 quarters. So for every year, this all 4 quarter will be. So how it will work, when your value is 1, it will calculate this capital,
Hmm.
5,000.
enter this loop.
Hmm.
Okay, excuse me. So what it will do for 1 year, it will enter this quarter. For first quarter, it will calculate this capital.
Same thing
When
which
it
we.
when it yes, when it encounters end, it will increment this quarter to 2. It will calculate the capital. Again, it will increment to 3, calculate. It will increment to 4, calculate. When it encounters end, your quarter is incremented to 5. So it checks within the range, it's outside the range, it comes out. Hence, you get the quarter value is 5. So it's within every year for your 4 quarters value is calculated and you get this total value. Got it?
Hmm.
Yeah. Then what will happen to second year? Same
Same
thing.
thing. Yeah. So second year, what happens now when it encounters that this is end of the loop for 4 quarters, end is
Huh.
there. So with this output for first year and its quarterly amount is given immediately to your
Yes.
output data
Yeah,
set. So
Yeah.
this
right.
row is there.
Yeah.
Now
That I know. Like
it
same
comes to
process
this
will
end.
happen again.
Now it will come to this end. Now this end is for this outer loop. So
Oh,
when this end is encountered, your year value gets incremented to 2
2.
in
But
PDB.
yeah. But then what
So
is the value of then in that case capital?
yeah, one sec. So when it enters into the year value as 2, your capital will get incremented for your second year or
Yeah.
whatever is your current capital. So because
I
it's going to get accumulated now, previous
yeah.
capital plus
Huh.
second year capital. It's
So this
accumulating.
5,228 plus 5,000 and plus
Okay. Okay. That's
0.45.
I was just want to check.
Correct,
Okay.
because it's accumulating. It's
Mm-hmm.
always going to get accumulated for first year, second year, third year, fourth year.
Okay.
That's why it's accumulating. It's plus sign. It's some statement,
Okay.
right? So it's introduction to your nested loops. Okay, now it's telling here how can you generate one observation for each quarterly amount, which we have already done in the previous demo, but now you also want to check for quarterly value.
Output we can give, no?
Yeah, we
Right, so
do.
they were telling instead of this output, you can always write this output
Mm.
Mm,
if you want to check the quarterly values. So this is how you'll see the output.
yes, quarter.
So earlier
Yeah,
what we
50
were
is
doing,
not coming. 50 is not
yeah,
coming.
because this output I said now, because of this output we were getting that 5,
Yeah.
because we
Mm,
have used this output only for
only one.
quarterly. Yes,
Correct.
so this output was also effective for this all, with including this 5 also. So now you won't see the fifth quarter value, which was the same repetition of your fourth value. Hence,
Mm,
for every year, you get the 4 quarter values. So for every second year, see now this value plus your whatever 5,000. So it's this is the value, and for first quarter it calculated its rate of
mm,
interest. So see,
yes.
capital was 5,000 plus 5,000, 10,000. Getting it for the second year,
Mm,
including your first year interest, which is this. So for second year, it's incrementing from previous year to second year. Correct? With this 5,000 plus 5,000, including its rate of interest for 4 quarters. So this is for first quarter, this is for second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter for the same year.
for second year.
Right?
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Same goes for third year till 4 quarters. All right.
mm.
So this was the result. So no need of writing the output here, because if you write the output here, you know you'll get an extra row for fifth quarter which gets incremented, but the value for the fourth quarter is repeated. So this is what you see. Now it's again the scenario of rested. Yes, tell me.
Can you show that the department, that engineering department exceeding 75, that one, how we can put condition in that? Because I thought we have to sort by departments because there are a lot of
Was
departments.
it this? Yes.
Yeah, this one.
So it's demo D05. So this was the example, right? So how, so the question was, okay,
It
what
would
stop
take five.
value would you use in the do loop to determine the number of years that it would take for the engineering department to exit 75? Now here how you'll do is, because you don't have only single department, right? You have
Yeah, that's
multiple
what. Yeah.
departments. So it was just an example for you to think. So that's why the output or answer they have given is unknown. So in this
Because
you
I
can
was
use,
thinking that we have to sort it by by departments, then we have to select engineering department. That's what I was thinking.
yeah, so that could also be one of its solution. Yes, so you will have to do the same thing.
Same thing means like,
No.
Can we try this?
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
we will do it. So it is,
use conditional
yeah.
to process to stop value.
So how many years now? So let it be 6 years only. But the condition is department employees, total employees
Except
exit
to
Except
70.
75.
55 people.
So let's do here until,
Oh, we can't say your.
We can see yours. We are
oh,
just on
okay,
that
sorry,
page.
sorry. Okay, okay. So until your total underscore employees
Is equal
greater
to
than
is equal to
equal to
75.
75.
75.
Okay.
And department by department.
So if department is equal to
Engineering.
what is the
Engineering.
value? Is it the whole word engineering?
Yeah, I think I saw that. Engineering,
Just
whole
type
word.
Engineering,
Word.
the whole
Yeah.
word, correct?
Yeah.
So this if statement should be as early as possible because we are working with only engineering department, right?
Yeah.
So let us
Before
put
do we
here.
can do, right?
Yeah, let us put here and let us work out like this.
Mm. Now we got it.
So it's not at all, we don't have any values which is exiting 75 for this with the rate of interest here because the value itself for engineering and employees are not those
Hmm.
great numbers.
So it took all 6 years. That's it.
Yes,
Not the second condition.
yes. So in case, yeah, so that's why it. So if we give it that in case if we
40
give
maybe, 25 maybe.
or 25, let's check, okay? So it's taking only 4 years now.
Hmm.
See,
And
4 years.
we can use while now. Then it will take 3.
Yes, so what we can do is just copy this.
Maybe it will take 5 in while, I think.
It will be the same value, but it will default increment for your, or it will, it will check the condition before the
Hmm.
loop enters, right?
Hmm.
While this is,
Less than it should be, right?
yeah, less than equal to, still 4.
Oh, same. Okay.
It's coming,
4 only.
same value. All
Only in
right. So,
PDD it will take the year change. Otherwise,
right, right.
the
Yeah,
output
right,
will be.
absolutely. Because you are writing your output. So in
Yeah.
case if I comment this, let's see how it give. It will give you a total year is 5 and total number of employees 25 point something. See, year is 5.
Hmm.
Got it?
Yeah.
Because we are writing every observation will keep on calculated, and because of output it will immediately write to output data set. That's why we'll get for every 4 years. All right.
Hmm.
Any questions here? All right. So then another example of nested do loop, what they were telling us is, now in case if you have this data where they are telling that you have a data set where you have bank's name and their rate of interest. So it's telling compare the final results of investing 5,000 a year for 5 years in three different banks that compound interest quarterly. Now these are different banks and they are different rate of interest, and every bank you're saving 5,000. So assume that each bank has fixed rate of interest stored in this data set. So simply what they are trying to give you an information is you are giving this conditions or you're writing this loops. So this is for yearly one loop, quarterly second loop, and your data step itself is another loop. So it's, you can say that with a data step with a set statement. Now, till date, we were typing the values for your amount, correct? But here we are taking the values from a data set. Hence, your data step will be processing thrice for every different branches. And for every branch, for every 5 years, this will be the loop. For every 5 years, this will be quarterly loop. So hence it's telling it's all a combination of a nested loops, a loop within a loop, a loop within a loop. All right?
Before also we are
Okay.
taking set only, na? Before examples we took.
No, in this examples, it wasn't set. We were giving the
Oh, okay.
values. So that's why your data step was not iterating. We were just getting introduced with loops. Now your data set is also looping, right? Because in every
Mhm.
bank, it will perform 5 years, 4 quarters. For every observation, 5 years, 4 quarters. So this will be the first iteration. This is the second iteration of your data step. This is the third iteration of data step. That's what it's telling. Then within for every observation, 5 years. So this loop will be 5 times. For every 5 years, 4 quarters. That's
Mm.
what they're just trying to tell you. It's a loop.
Okay, but the interest rate is different for each bank,
For
right?
every bank, yes. That's why we have a variable rate which is coming from input data set. This.
Okay.
So that's what it's telling. See it iteration 1. This is the first rate of interest, first bank. Then second iteration, second rate, second bank, third iteration of your data step, third rate, third bank.
So it's automatically take different interest rate.
Yes, because of your variable rate, which is coming from input data set.
Okay.
If we don't give here capital is equal to 0, still it will take the capital plus 5,000 we have given already. Do we
Yes,
have to
yes.
give here capital is equal to 0?
Why they are giving here 0? Because this capital, it's within every loop. But when it comes to run, it will goes to the next data set variable, next data set observation from this input data set. So for next data set, when it is, you have to initiate your PDV for capital to 0 before entering a loop. That is why it's giving here separately before entering the loop.
Okay, it will add up then.
Correct. Because it's a separate branch.
Hmm.
All right. That's it. You get it like this, the values and exercise. So do you want me to stop? Because this will be heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to go through this video again
Sure, sure. You go through this video, you do this
because
exercise
it's
as
little
well.
hard for me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure. No problem. You can revise the topics, go to
Mm.
at least the first level of exercise.
Okay.
Okay. And then we can discuss that exercise for our next class. Fine.
Yeah.
Which is on which page number?
So you can revise the topics. Okay. And you can at least do this conditional expression or conditional looping first level of exercise. If you
Mm.
have any hurdles, we can always discuss this exercise tomorrow, but
Yeah.
revise it and then we'll start with our next topic, which is arrays. All right.
Okay.
So we'll start with arrays tomorrow. So with this, we'll stop with do loops. So do revise and we'll discuss if you have any issues for our tomorrow class.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Bye. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank